you change. Treat me right, I do the same. I hate your player ways, but I like expensive things. Show me that I'm your favorite. Show me that I'm your favorite. I put my trust in you.
I just hope that we don't end up like Adam and Eve.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Beach. Welcome back to my channel. Please make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm really super excited to be here today and to make this vlog because I think it's really needed. I've been getting a lot of questions. So let's just get into it, okay? But no, seriously. So the questions that I've been getting a lot are, how's your new car? What made you get a BMW over another Mercedes? How is your new car compared to your old car? So I wanted to go ahead and just make a vlog about it so I can really give y'all details and my experience and my personal opinion. So if you don't know, I had a CLA250 for 5 years. That was my first luxury car, and I did a lot of research. So I used to get people telling me oh, don't go luxury. It's so expensive. You're not going to be able to keep up with the maintenance. It doesn't make sense. Blah 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 blah. So I'm okay, well, with a car that is not luxury, I'm going to have to get an oil change every 2 to 3 months. I don't like doing it. It's inexpensive, but it's frequent. My car, to me, before I had my Mercedes, I had a Dodge Charger, y'all. That was my baby. That was my baby. But it just wasn't a luxury. I was spending a lot of time in my car. I was driving 2 hours to and from Delaware to college, back and forth. It was mad sporty, it was mad cute, it was fast as I don't know what, but it just didn't give me my vibe I felt that I was trying to go for. So boom, I decided to look into luxury cars. So for me, what intrigued me about the luxury cars, first and foremost, your oil change is literally, in my Mercedes, it was twice a year or every 10,000 miles. So just depending on how much you drive. Of course, they're more expensive than a regular oil change because you get 10,000 miles versus I think it's 3,000 miles on a regular car. So it's more expensive, but it makes sense. They check everything, they top everything off, and they clean your engine. They just do the whole shebang. If there's a problem, you're always going to know about it. They're always going to keep you informed. So that's what I really, really, really loved about my Mercedes. Now, if you don't know, BMW, the people who make Mercedes makes BMW too, right? So they're kind of cousins, or maybe brother and sister. And it's intriguing because they're kind of the same but very different. So my BMW that I have now is a X4 in its sports. It's an i30. So the similarities, which is so crazy, is very similar because my Mercedes and my BMW are both considered a 4-door coupe. They're both considered a sports car, and they're both considered luxury performance cars. So of course my BMW is bigger because it's a truck, right? So your girl went up a notch. You got a truck. But I didn't want a regular car, because honestly, luxury cars living in the city is not a good idea. It's a lot of like potholes, bumps. Like if you live around that, 9 times out of 10, there's going to be a day where you hit something hard where you're going to possibly damage your luxury car. So that was one thing that I really hated from moving from Delaware to Atlanta. I felt like my car was getting more like damaged because the roads were so terrible. In Delaware, I live like in a suburban area. It's not that much traffic. The streets are not as bad. So that was like a big shock for me in my Mercedes. So that's why I decided to get a truck, because I still live in the city of Atlanta. So I figured, the higher up, the less damage. Because my Mercedes sat really, really low. So let's get into like the important stuff, like how it drives, how it does on gas. So BMW is more of like a real performance car. So when I say performance, it's supposed to drive a certain way. It's supposed to bend corners a certain way. Like it's supposed to do what it do. Mercedes is the same thing, but it's a little bit more like a real sports car kind of vibe. So the difference is my truck steering wheel is like a little tighter. So I've been having a strong arm, and sometimes, I'm little, so sometimes I have to like strong arm it just a bit. And in my Mercedes, I could just like whip that joint. So, and my steering wheel was like a little looser. So it's not a big difference, but I definitely had to get like used to it, if that makes sense. Now as for gas, like my gas tank, baby, is literally the same. I feel like it took about, right now it takes like I think $60 to fill my tank up. Gas is high. But it was literally taking like 55 to 62 in my Mercedes. But it lasts, like the gas lasts. I use 93. So my gas is almost $5 a gallon right now. In Atlanta, it's like $4.50. But that gas lasts me like, if I don't have to go in office, thing about Atlanta though, guys, the traffic. If it's a good traffic day, like all week, my gas is gonna last. But like some days I go to work and I live 23 minutes from my job, but if traffic is bad coming home, it could take me up to an hour and a half to get home. So it just depends on the weather here, because when it rains, people get crazy, and that's when it takes forever to travel. So if I'm having a good gas week, my gas can almost last me like 2 weeks, because I don't go in office that much. I don't have to drive around in the city that much. Like I live by the grocery store, so I'll walk, or my boyfriend will go, or like I don't have to move my car so much, so my gas lasts. As far as like the inside and like the luxuriness, how it makes me feel, because we know like BMW is kind of like, it's loud but not flashy loud, versus Mercedes is like a bam, like I'm here. So when I had my Mercedes, that's definitely how I felt. Like, bitch, you can't tell me nothing, like, baby, So I felt like young, fly, and flashy. My BMW makes me feel like grown and sexy, and just like, yeah, girl, you in your mood, like you here, like this you. So it does give you like more of like a grown-up feel, because I don't know, like it's loud but it's not flashy loud. So it's like a humble beast. Like that's the best I can say it. Like it's really like a humble beast, and it just makes you feel good. So both gonna make you feel good. Now I can't speak too much into like the maintenance. I've had my car. I got my car in the beginning of September, and I just got an oil change the other day. But I did drive to and from Delaware, so I got an oil change in like what, 10 months. What's this? June. So September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. Yeah. So 10 months, which is really good. I think that's longer than my Mercedes, really. I think my Mercedes was like every 6 months. Like I was almost going twice a year, almost, or like it would be like the top of the new year. So, we'll see. I don't know. And then, you know, they have maintenance packages when you purchase your car. I can't really say too much for Mercedes because I had purchased that 5 years ago. But BMW does have like certain packages that comes with the car, which are really good. Like this time I got maintenance, I didn't have to pay for anything, and they did my brakes, they did my spark plugs, they did my windshield wipers, the oil change, check the engine, check the tires. Like they did the whole nine, and I didn't have to come out of pocket with anything. So what I would say, like if you're going car shopping, or if you're trying to figure out if you want to go from, you know, just a non-luxury brand to a luxury brand car, the things that you probably should like look at or weigh your options with is, number one, are you a responsible driver? Like that's your number one. If you're a person that like be like, girl, I'm hitting this pothole, like I don't care, you be rubbing your tires on the edge when you parking, like if you a person like that, luxury doesn't make sense for you right now. I'm gonna say that because you gonna have this beautiful car and you don't want to like ding it up and scrape it up, scratch it up. You're spending all this money on it, and it's just like, why, when you don't even care for it enough to care for it, right? So number one, are you like a responsible driver? Are you in your responsible era? Number two, I would say look at your sizing. What is your like ultimate size of like standard size, and what are you not willing to settle for? Because with luxury, you know, everything is a price tag. Okay, so sports packages, add-ons, you know, if you want to change, you want a certain kind of rim, all of that matters, and it's going to cost, and so does the size. So you have to figure out, do you want to start with a car, do you want to start with a truck? So that will help you pinpoint your price range and understand what you can afford extra, if that makes sense. So like for example, my Mercedes had everything except for a specialty rim. My rims were like the basic rims, but on the inside I had the whole nine. I had the bigger screen, I had the heated seats, the air conditioning, the panoramic roof. I didn't have the AMG package, so those were the two things I was missing, the AMG package, and I had base model rims, but everything else I was completely happy with. I got, I had my star lit up, I had CarPlay, I'm trying to think. So yeah, another thing too, rainy day fund. Now, anything can happen, period, with any kind of car, but luxury car is going to be different, right? Because it's 9 times out of 10, it's going to cost you a pretty little penny if something does happen. So, for me, the biggest rainy day fund is tires. Your car does not come with a spare tire because your tires are run flat. So hypothetically, in their mind, if you hit a tire you're going to be good to get to where you need to go and get it fixed or whatever the case may be. So there's no spare tires. I was in a situation where one of my tires was bad. I kind of knew, and I was like, oh, can I wait 2 weeks? They was like, oh, sure. I tried to wait the 2 weeks. I hopped on the highway. I was rolling, probably driving too fast. And boom, my run flat popped. So in that moment, you can't drive. I had to call a tow truck. So, which I can say with Mercedes, if you get a tow to Mercedes and get them to service your car, your tow is always free. So that's a plus. You don't need AAA. But you have to have the money to buy that tire and to pay for that labor. So that's a big thing to always think about, because the tires tend to be more expensive because they are run flat tires, and then sometimes you can't even plug a run flat tire depending on how bad the damage is. So you have to be willing to pay at least, like, I think in my Mercedes, one tire was like maybe $2 something. But they did have sales and coupons, but that's not all the time. So far, I said we should think about sizing, rainy day funds, I can't forget. I think I did 3. I forget the other one right now, but I think those are like the most important things to think about. And then also how long you want to keep your car. So when I bought my Mercedes, my car was like literally less than a year old. I wasn't technically planning on keeping it for 5 years. I didn't even realize I had it that long. That's a crazy thing. So I love that for me. I don't know how long I'm going to keep my BMW. Because the only thing with my BMW is I really was forced to get a car. Like, I didn't want to get a car. So remember I told you guys, like, if something crazy happens, it's going to happen. And it's going to cost you. So my Mercedes had like this part that came to like $12,000 that needs to be fixed and some other things. And my car only had like $8,000 to $10,000 left to pay off. And I was just like, oh my God, my head hurt. I can't do it. I just gotta get a new car, because it didn't make sense. So I kind of wasn't like in the season of wanting a car. I just kind of wanted to wait. Like, I really wanted to pay my Benz off. But I feel like I love my X4, but I don't know. I think I might want something. I think I might want the same car again. So we'll see if I don't think I'm gonna make it to 5 years, though, is what I'm saying. So we'll see. But I think I would like upgrade to an X6 maybe, or maybe to a Mercedes GLE. Okay, that's my like dream car, a GLE 63 or 43. But I would like the big one, the big one. Okay, so I'm gonna manifest that. I'm gonna manifest all my upgrades. Y'all know that. So yeah, I hope this helps anybody who had asked me questions on Instagram. I really had a lot of questions. You guys didn't have specific questions. It was just more so like, how do you like it? Which one do you think I should get? Or, and I couldn't really answer those. And I still can't answer those. I don't know which one you should get. I can just tell you like the pros and the cons. But honestly, the pros, I don't really have any cons for Mercedes at all. The only con I have for BMW is my purchasing process was difficult. And I feel like the dealership didn't communicate well. So I'm not going to blame that on the brand. I'm just going to blame that on where I purchased the car. But just remember, like, you're purchasing a luxury car. The service should be A1. Your service should be luxury. Like, my whole time I had my Mercedes from Delaware to Georgia, it was a seamlessly luxury experience. And that's what I was expecting at BMW. Oh, this was the one other thing I want to tell you guys. When buying luxury, yo, really just go to the actual branded dealership, okay? Because I say this to say, like, you're gonna buy it from an off-brand dealership and you don't know how they treated that car. You don't even know if they were taking the car back to Mercedes or BMW to get the proper service. You don't know if they switched out any parts. Like, and I've heard a lot of horror stories from people who bought their luxury car from an off-brand dealership. I don't get into that. Like, if I'm gonna buy it, I'm gonna just buy it from the source. Like, when you buy Louis, you go to Louis. When you buy Gucci, 9 times you're going to Gucci, or you're gonna go to, like, you know, a luxury department store. But we don't have that for cars, right? So please, please, please just go to the branded dealership and buy a certified pre-owned, so you can get all your warranties. You can add more warranties if you need to, or extend your warranty if you need to. But please, I hate to see it. I hate to see people do that and then literally be stuck with a car that's like really jacked up. So do your research, take your time, test drive. If it take you a month, it's okay. When I bought my Mercedes, it took me a month. When I bought my BMW, it took me maybe like 2.5 to 3 weeks. I went to Range Rover, I test drove a Range Rover, didn't like it. Range Rover and Jaguars together, I test drove a Jag truck. I liked it, but I felt like the year was too old. Where else did I go? I think I did not go to Mercedes. I don't know why, but I know why. The car that I was looking for, the GLEs are very popular. The GLCs are very popular, and there was none in close to Atlanta. So I think that's why I ended up not going to Mercedes. But I'm very happy with my purchase. Like, I love my BMW. It's different from anything I've ever had. So I love that for me. And I hope this helps y'all, right? But if it doesn't and you have more questions, or if I didn't answer a question that you guys have, please, please, please just ask me in the comments and I will respond to your question. I don't know if I should have did a car tour. That might have would have been cute for this, so you guys can see the inside. But my inside on my BMW is very just calm. Like, I got all black interior leather. I got a panoramic roof. My favorite. Every car I get has to have a big roof. Okay, at this point, big open roof. I have, you know, the Bluetooth, the CarPlay, the steering wheel buttons, all of the things all the essential things that you need, I have in my truck. Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope it helps you in your car making choices and decisions, girl or guy. And yeah, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe. And if you have any more questions, drop them in the comments and I will respond. Bye.